The call came through on Detective Inspector Jemima Huxley's day off. Jemima had only recently been allowed back to work after weeks of enforced sick leave. During that time, life in the Huxley household had been strained. At one point, courtesy of her husband Nick, a few people were made aware of Jemima's deepest, darkest secret, her self-harming. A doctor had sedated her, and there were a few days of her life that she would never be able to recall. Later, when Jemima realized what her husband had done, she wished the ground would open up and swallow her. As far as she was concerned, his actions were nothing short of a humiliating betrayal. She had spent years concealing her pain. Now, people knew that she cut herself. Nick understood that being a serving police officer meant the world to Jemima. It was one thing him insisting she get medical help, but it was quite another outing her to her boss, a move that could have cost Jemima her career. Luckily for Jemima, Detective Chief Inspector Ray Kennedy had kept her secret. Instead of kicking her off the squad, he'd insisted that she attend mandatory counselling sessions. She'd reluctantly agreed to this course of action, as it was the only way she would be allowed to return to work. It focused her mind, and Jemima had worked hard to confront her demons and rebuild her life. At first, Jemima had been sceptical at the value of talking things through with a counsellor, believing that her problems stemmed entirely from her inability to become pregnant. As she relaxed into the sessions, she came to realise that her issues were more complex and deep-rooted. Jemima understood that there would be no quick fix. Instead, she had embarked on an emotionally draining and occasionally brutal process, forcing her to confront and re-evaluate aspects of her life that she had taken for granted. To a certain extent, Jemima was grateful that Nick's actions had railroaded her down that particular path. In retrospect, she acknowledged that she couldn't have carried on with things the way they had been. Yet no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't let go of the belief that Nick had been disloyal by forcing her hand. And to a large extent, that underlying sense of betrayal tainted their relationship. She still loved Nick, but she would never be able to trust her husband fully again.